Attention Birds fans, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on the Philadelphia Eagles' path to another Super Bowl run. A power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. Stay tuned, the market may be about to gain new chapters. After already moving aggressively with trades and impactful signings this season. But before that, if you are a true Philadelphia Eagles fan, if you are passionate about the Eagles, leave your like and subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Let's get to the news. The Philadelphia Eagles, a team that in recent years has stood out for its offensive strength and ability to respond under pressure, are now experiencing turbulence. And we're not talking about an ordinary season stumble, but a troubling sign that echoes inside and outside the league. What's at stake is not just an isolated loss, but the way the team's offense has been collapsing in decisive moments, especially in the second half of games. This offensive weakness has been catching the attention of analysts, worrying fans, and even leaving the players themselves without answers. The recent duel against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was seen as the perfect opportunity to reaffirm the Eagles' dominance. A chance to show that, even under pressure, the offense could dictate the rhythm and command respect. But the reality was very different. In that second half, what we saw was a lifeless offense, unable to maintain the intensity that characterized the team in past seasons. And that not only compromised the immediate result, but also lit up a red flag. Is the Eagles' offensive scheme becoming predictable? This game served as a brutal reminder of how ruthless the NFL can be. The rhythm that seemed consolidated collapsed within minutes, exposing execution flaws and, most importantly, inconsistency. Now, the big question is, are we facing a one-time problem or a trend that could compromise the team's Super Bowl campaign? If there's one thing Eagles fans have already noticed this season, it's that something is not flowing the way it should on offense. And it's not just a viewer's impression. Offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo himself admitted that the team has been incredibly inconsistent in the first games of 2025. But the big question is, what's behind these offensive problems? And could the situation bring even bigger consequences inside the locker room, especially involving A.J. Brown? Let's start with the current scenario. The Eagles have indeed faced tough opponents right from the start. Solid defenses that don't leave room for mistakes. Still, it's impossible to ignore that the offense seems stuck in crucial moments. The clearest example came in the game against the Buccaneers. The team started well, established rhythm, and even seemed to have found answers to defensive adjustments. But as the game progressed, that same offense simply shut down. The result was a sequence of short drives, wasted opportunities, and a sharp drop in efficiency, especially on first downs. That detail is crucial. Patullo acknowledged that the team has been failing precisely at the start of offensive series. This means that instead of creating rhythm and pressuring the opposing defense, the Eagles often find themselves in long third-down situations, which become predictable and easy to shut down. It's not just an execution issue, but also one of planning. The play calling has been questioned, and for many analysts, Nick Sirianni's offense has lost the creativity that defined it in previous seasons. And it's in this context that A.J. Brown's name inevitably comes up. The wide receiver hasn't hidden his frustration with the lack of involvement. In recent games, his participation has been modest, far below what's expected from one of the NFL's top receivers. Patullo tried to ease the situation, saying that he talks constantly with Brown, that he understands his desire to help, and that the coaching staff is aware of the importance of getting him more involved. However, the explanation that sometimes the ball finds him more than at other times doesn't seem to convince either the fans or the player himself. Here comes the speculative part. How far can this discomfort go before it turns into a headache for the Eagles? Brown has always been known for being vocal and competitive, and when he feels he's not being used properly, that tends to show. The point is, the Eagles can't afford to lose the engagement of a player of this caliber, especially in a season where every detail could mean the difference between success and failure in the playoffs. Another point that deserves attention is how the offensive philosophy is distributing the ball. Patullo pointed out that there are many playmakers on the roster and only one ball per play. That's true. Between Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, the running game led by Swift, and even the versatility of players like Cooper DeJean in creative packages, the options are plenty. But when you have a talent like A.J. Brown, you can't treat him as just another piece. He needs to be the centerpiece of the passing attack. because his ability to create explosive plays can change the course of any game. Now, looking ahead, the question remains, will the Eagles be able to adjust this dynamic in time? Recent history shows that teams with unbalanced offenses end up suffering in January. Just remember the Eagles themselves in 2023, when offensive predictability contributed to the collapse down the stretch. The difference is that now, the pressure is even greater, because the Super Bowl window is open and there's no room for waste. If Patullo and Sirianni don't find ways to reconnect Brown to the center of the offense, the risk is that the receiver's frustration will grow and turn into an internal problem, affecting not only performance but also the locker room atmosphere. On the other hand, if they can balance the offensive forces and give Brown the role he expects, the Eagles can return to being that relentless machine everyone fears to face.